welcome to Behind the Scenes. Once again, it's great to have you with our guest for today, the great M7. He will tell us his other names and welcome to the show, sir. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. My other names, Kalua Walia.
Kalua Walia.
Yeah, Kalua David Walia.
Kalua David Walia.
Yeah.
I've never heard David. But since you brought that out, Kalua David Walia, let's start from there.
Yeah.
Why M7?
Well, M7 simply because I believe that I'm God's vessel. That's after I gave my life to Christ, of course. I believe that I'm God's vessel. And so the M stands for microphone.
Okay.
And the 7 is God's number of completion. So microphone because I believe God speaks through me.
Okay.
The same way we are speaking right now, and the people can get us because we're using a microphone. So I'm that vessel that God's speaking through to reach to my generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's wonderful. So you've been in music, you've been in art and all these things. How long have you been doing music for? How long have you been Microphone 7?
I've been doing music for 8 years in total.
8 years in total?
7 years as a gospel artist.
7 years as a gospel artist. So you actually started off not as a gospel artist?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened? Why the transition? Tell us about how you got into that.
Okay, so 2012, I started doing music in 2012. I was in a crew and we were doing like just hip hop music.
What was the crew called?
It was called Elite Fresh.
Elite Fresh.
Yeah. It was called Elite Fresh. There was 3 guys and a lady. And that time I was just like into rapping and stuff. And so like the group was made up of people that I knew from church.
Okay.
Because I've been Catholic most of my life. I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
And so this group was us, we knew each other, we knew God, and it wasn't like we were strange to Jesus Christ and stuff. But then the lifestyle that I was living personally, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the other ones, but like the lifestyle that I was living was far from what a child of God should be living.
Okay.
And so in 2012, we were just doing music. Our first show was at Italian school in Lusaka, and it was just interesting because then you just want to be famous. You're young, so you just want to be famous. Girls are screaming, so that for you, that's like, oh, this is big,
This is big, we're making it.
But then after some time, I discovered that I was drinking even before the music, but then I started drinking like crazy and fornicating and doing whatever and going to the clubs every weekend. I mean Friday, Saturday was for resting at home, so church was not in the plan.
Okay.
Until 2012 going into 2013, there was this lady that I liked. I said girls, and so I met her at the club and she invited me to church. She invited you to
church at the club?
Yeah, she invited me to church, and I was gonna go to church.
Okay.
The reason I was going to church was because of the lady.
It was because of the lady.
And not because of God. Because so many people invited me to church, I didn't go. It's just I really like this girl.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to church at Mount Zion Christian Center. It was the garage, the youth service. Yeah. That time Pastor Pangwe was a deacon in charge of the garage. So he was there, So I reached the place and everyone was looking cool, it wasn't like the traditional kind of thing. Because for me,
church was traditional.
Anything that was traditional, I don't deal with. I respect it, but I grew up with a different mind, and so I know God and I love God. But it took me some time to really get into certain things with regards to religion and for example speaking in tongues and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Because I was what's this? It's weird. You know what I mean? And
so you meet this girl, you go to the garage, and I'm assuming that's the start of your Christian walk.
So that's the start of my true dedication. I call it to Jesus, because in 2011, in my final year of high school, I gave my life to Christ, but I was afraid. It was my first encounter with prophets. There's a prophet that led me to the Lord. It was a Catholic camp. He was on board, so I was drunk actually when we were going to the camp, and when we were coming back. So everyone was talking about how like they encountered God, and I was just in the room on Facebook, and they followed me and asked me and said so many things, prophesied, and I was like, yo, I didn't tell anyone this, you know what I mean? So I gave my life to Christ out of fear that time. That's why like 2012 I went back full time. Like it was I just backslid.
Okay.
But in 2013, January 2013, I gave my life because I wanted to. And because I really like looked at my life and I saw how the time people were getting killed, taxi drivers were getting killed, young people were getting killed. I was going out and going home at 4 in the morning on a cab, drunk.
Okay.
And God preserved my life. And so it was basically because of how much God loved me. And I saw that. And that drew me into God's. Like I just wanted to be the child of God.
Wonderful. So when we look at that, so you're a person who's doing music and all these things. And it's an amazing journey. So we'll be back.
Yeah.
And thank you. We'll be back soon after this short break.
Chalo changa china pindi muka Kenena kumana uyu mulungu Chalo changa china pindi muka Chapindi mukila
Welcome back. So we're continuing our conversation with himself, and that was seriously amazing background. It's interesting that you met God through the lady. It seems that's a common story. But God really does love us, and He does pursue us in whatever way He can, and that's why this will lead me to my next thing. I've followed your career, your ministry throughout, and I can tell that you're one of the artists who was doing what maybe we would call contemporary Christian music at a time when it wasn't so popular. So what made you stick with it? How have you stuck on message? What made you go through all that? How have you stuck on it? Maybe for the young artist out there who's asking, okay, I'm doing this kind of music, I'm doing this kind of art, I'm not understood. How did you go through that? How was your journey?
I think first of all, you need to understand who God has called you to be, because like the Bible tells us that we are like a body. And so every part of the body is unique. Not one finger is like the other. So even if we say, oh no, the church is supposed to be uniform, you not find the same fingerprint on each finger, you know. So you need to know who you are, and you need to know what you're called to. And you need to understand who you're called to. Also, like what kind of people. Because a lot of people try and do something that they are not called to because they feel like, and so it becomes frustrating in the end. But so I stayed consistent because I knew who I was. God knew who I was also. He knew before I was born. And he knew that I'm a person who doesn't fake to be who I'm not. And so I guess that's why he uses me effectively in the type of music that I do, because I'm not trying to be someone else. There's already an effort. I'm not trying to be effort. You know, there's already a Pompey. I'm not trying to be Pompey. So God has got so much creativity and uniqueness that He's able, because He's able, the same way He's able to count the hairs on our head, He's able to create you in your own unique way with your art. And so once you discover that, it's easy to stay consistent, and that's been my secret.
Wonderful. So there's an aspect of God that we all bring out individually, and I like that point. I always bring it out to people like this. We are called to unity, not conformity. Conformity is everyone is the same. Unity is we're different, but we agree on purpose. And I like that. So maybe just run us through. So recently you had this amazing musical concert. I was there. I was blessed.
Yeah.
I saw. I think a number of people give their lives to Christ.
Yeah.
There was amazing moments of worship. There was amazing moments of dance.
Yeah.
There was just all these massive, amazing things. So, how do you prepare for a concert? How do you prepare? M7 is coming to a concert. Is having a concert. What's your thought process? What's your do you go 7 days prayer and fasting, or are you going through your song so you don't forget the words? So what's your preparation process like?
I wouldn't say I go like 7 days prayer and fasting because I'll be lying, but it sounds good. It sounds good. So what I do is I get in the atmosphere of the concert before, so I make sure my heart is in the place of like receiving what God wants me to give to people.
Okay.
And so I'm not just going anywhere or listening to anything anyhow. I'm trying to position myself in a place where, like, when I'm up there on stage and I'm gonna be with people for an hour plus. I need to know. Of course, I need to be myself. Obviously, you noticed that I was myself and I was shouting at the DJ and stuff. And well, that's not really shouting, but that's just my relationship with him. But it's a lot more about having your heart in the right place before you minister to people. Than I would say like, oh no, I'm gonna do like 5 days fasting and then, which is important. But then you can do that and have your heart in the wrong place. And it's easy to offend people, even when there are people who fast and then you get on stage and they're just offending people. But you need to pray. I think the most important thing is the preparation part is having your heart and your mind in the right space. So that when you're in the position of speaking and being God's vessel, you're open to only letting God do His thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it ties back to your name, basically being a vessel that is complete for the use and the work that God tells it to be. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for your questions, your comments. Whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, just kindly like, subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. Like the page, we have much more. I'm wearing a godly drip. This shirt is M7's own brand, so I'm sure there'll be some details at the bottom on how you can get yours. Thank you. We'll be back soon.
And everything is going wrong. Let me tell you, say, just hold on a little bit longer. It hurts right now, but it only makes you stronger. The rain might fall in the summertime, but springtime is a buena.
Welcome back. So, as we head towards the conclusion of this brief conversation we're having, we might actually want to have you for a concert soon as Miss Pasha.
Yes.
But let's just, a number of people sent in some questions, so I'd just like to run these things by you, because you're not just in a conversation with me. There are all these people looking at it. Maybe there's someone who's going to be watching this maybe 5 years from now. And that's why I love media. You've been, let's start with maybe a heavy hitter. It might be a heavy hitter for me. You've been in the music industry for a while. You've been an artist, you've been an influence. I don't really like the term an influencer, but you are an influencer to a generation. How have you walked the balance between remaining an influence? Maybe you're a cool guy. We're not going to deny that. What to do, handsome looking young man. Have you ever rejected maybe or overlooked an instruction from God at the expense of looking cool, or vice versa, and how have you managed that?
I'd say I have denied an opportunity to water down my Christianity. At the beginning of my career as a gospel artist, I was offered some deal by some guy from Nigeria and whatever, but it was gonna water down who I was, and so I denied that. If I have denied, maybe indirectly or without knowing,
but let me press you on that.
Yeah.
You've been given opportunities, and opportunities are consistently there to water down our beliefs in what we believe in God and what God wants us to stand for. How have you maintained that? Maybe like, what's the importance? What roles maybe do your pastors play? Do your mentors play? Do your friends play in that as an artist? In 30 seconds.
First of all, mentorship is important. You know what I mean? I'm really big on learning from people, even from a distance. But you know, I was constantly having sessions with Pastor Mbangwe, and it sort of gave me a strong foundation. And even now, I'm able to withstand the pressure of watering down who I am and who God has called me to be, because I understand who I am and who God has called me to be. So, like I said before, I said that you need to understand your purpose, because when you understand your purpose, then you know that even when you're faced with situations that get frustrating, you're not gonna bend or just move away from the purpose. So that's what's kept me going. I have fallen, I'm not gonna deny, but I've not moved away from my purpose, because I know this is what God wants me to do. And so even when I'm faced with, for example, money, you need money, and you know there's other ways of making money, but you're saying, no, look, I've chosen to be a gospel artist, I've chosen to do this. And so even if the Christians will not support this as much as they should, I shouldn't get frustrated, because in good time, in God's good time, everything's going to work out. So I look to God for my resources, because He's the source. And so there's a lot, it's just a lot.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And let me just press whoever's watching on this. Just off the top of your head, how much did it cost to record the average song?
Radio Cafe costs about 4,000 kwacha.
Okay, so 4,000 kwacha to record one song. This is why it's a tangent, but I'm just advising everyone, if you're able to, please attend concerts, buy merch, buy the albums. This is how you support these great ministers. There's a lot that we learn from these people, we benefit from them, and our support is instrumental in cardinal to them actually not compromising. So a lot of people have compromised because maybe we didn't do our duty as believers in supporting them the right way. So whether you have a photographer, a graphics guy, a camera guy, pay them their dues, okay? Okay, are you dating?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, yeah. Next question. And I think this might be the last one. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
What's been your biggest challenge? This is the second last question. What's been your biggest challenge? Last question is, if you were to change something about the gospel music industry in Zambia, what would it be?
Okay, so my biggest challenge as an artist was, which I faced at the beginning, was trying to conform to the standards of the traditional way of doing things, which didn't work out because I'm not a traditional kind of guy. So, but I was really trying, when I gave my life to Christ and I was doing gospel music, I thought it needed to sound a certain way, it needed to be on a certain beat. I couldn't sing fun music, but then I broke out of that. That was my biggest challenge. If I could change anything in the industry, I would change the work ethic of Christian artists. They are lazy. A lot of them are lazy.
Is it Christian artists in general or just artists in general?
Christian artists.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Christian artists because I've worked with a lot of secular artists. I know they work hard. Christian artists, they pray hard. That's fine, but you need to pray hard and back that up with work. And a lot of people just have faith. You do a song and then your household hears it, and that's it. So who are you reaching out to?
You don't advertise.
You know what I'm saying? You need to work hard. This is not child's play. Like, it's a job. You know what I mean? And so if a lot of Christian artists started taking their music careers serious, then we would be. Because I mean, for example, I was nominated as one of the best artists Lusaka category in the Kwacha Awards, and I was the only gospel artist there.
Oh.
Now I was happy that I was nominated because then they're like, oh, it's a gospel pop mic. I was disappointed that I was the only guy there. So it doesn't make sense that there should be one Christian artist and everyone else is secular.
In 30 seconds, look into the camera. What would you like to say to people? What would you want them to know M7 for?
I want you to know M7 as the young man who spoke the truth, didn't fake his life, also encouraged every single person to embrace their African, embrace who you are. I always tell people you need to help your fellow brother, and this is regards to charity work. That's one thing that everyone should remember me for. That's what I love to do, and so we don't need to wait for foreign aid. I believe we have enough to help each other. It's just that now everyone's trying to be fancy, so everyone is focusing on themselves and everyone's becoming selfish. But if we Africans focus on helping Africans, then Africa will be out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Zambians actually, you know what I'm saying? But so many Zambians suffering and so many Zambians having so much money, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. So, thank you all for taking time to be with us today. This audio will be up on our podcast channel soon. I think all details will be scrolling down there. From the Miss Pasha team, from everyone who's been working behind the scenes. This has been Behind the Scenes with Microphone 7, Kaluba David Walia.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much, and we'll be seeing you soon with our next guest. Bye-bye.